History, memory, power, the story is changing. Now that we're finally putting our pen to the paper, I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm here to carry the proof.
If these walls could talk, they'd stand and say, this home was never broken.
By a crevice of brothers who I've lost, who should now be men. A shipwreck of another I may never trust again. And a barnacle encrusted rubble of a love that should have never come to an end. She came to me.
Welcome to the 2026 Bankstown Poetry Slam Grand Slam! Over the last year, poets have come to perform at BPS in Bankstown for every single month, and every one of them that have placed first, second, third, and fourth have gone into this massive competition. They're gonna perform for you in 2 rounds. In these 2 rounds, they have 3 minutes to wow you and judges. Between our 2 rounds, we'll have an incredible musical feature act, Cooee, who will come on, and then after our 2 rounds, we will have a lineup of feature poets.
I touched a leaf, it felt like skin, then something whispered from within.
I'm just different.
I realize I've become what I was named to be, forever striving to please both sides of me. One says,
you must thrive on your own.
A lone tree has small space to feed, but no one to lean on in times of need.
Look upon the crowds ahead. Eyes of flint, hearts ash-fed. Upon you, boy, they seek to wed. Imputations of bloodshed.
Haha, very funny, guys. You think I'm a killer? The only thing I ever killed is the mood in this theater. I don't have the big words to describe all your drama, but don't blame me. All I want is to eat shawarma. Can I finish my poem now?
Hey, chat. How do I make this sound more professional?
How many R's are in strawberry?
Why doesn't my dad love me?
Is he a narcissist?
Am I a narcissist?
Is my dog a narcissist?
He kisses his mum on the lips. Is that a red flag?
Is it racist to say?
Yes!
And being Australian is eating HSPs, but like not knowing what it stands for? It's highly sensitive poets for sure. To be Australian is to be bland, seasoning our meals with nothing but salt and pepper, and that will send my ancestors into a coma. Being Australian is confusing our capital city for Sydney, Melbourne,
Bali?
Huh?
Pushed into small corners, starved, annexed, hidden, robbed of all that matters, stalked by vultures, by scavengers. Native land stolen, a familiar story told in this corner of the earth, isn't it?
Then I'll hurry back to the city so I can plant a garden in Hyde Park. I'll plant rows and rows and rows of seeds and water them till the sky goes dark at the end of the world.
I will host a potluck so good I could stop the war. Just long enough to open my heart, set the round table with steak knives and forget-me-nots. We pull out the couch bed for late night conversations in just 5 more minutes, and we pray we make it that long. We fill the ghost town silence with laughter and old stories. You pass me the salt, and instead of thank you, I say I love you because I am scared this is the last time I will feel it.
But there is a violence in becoming flesh. Our mother dreamed us, was gifted us whole, one after the other, named us virgin, beauty, light,
thunder. But she was left blood-soaked and bone-weak.
We ripped her flesh open, screaming ourselves into the world, and took her strength inside us.
Time named us daughters,
then women.
With the passing of each and every moon, we carry cupfuls of sacrifice, laced in the vow of newborn love and whispers of promised pain. For even as love crowns you, so shall he crucify you.
To become a woman is to become aware of the inheritance of pain passed down from sisters,
aunts,
grandmothers.
An unwanted gift with no return receipt. We are taught the difference between boy and girl.
Clear lines cut.
No room for overlap. But the difference between man and woman was carved directly into our skin.
With a blunt knife made from every time we saw our mothers bite their tongues.
So from camellias and reason from the weeds, into my chains. The ground beneath till I grow roots, become one of theirs, one of the daisies, one of the daisies, one of the daisies, one of the daisies.
My family joke that they're surprised that I'm still breathing. No, none of them were present when that fear still held the weight it no longer holds for me. No, the comment shot from mouths grinning, perhaps snarling. I haven't visited my family in months. I don't track how many pass in between anymore. When I do, something snide, a request, a demand, sometimes. I don't answer the phone. Why are you calling me?
My therapist tells me that all my body has ever known is flight. Even as she says it, I can feel the phone vibrating against my thigh. I tell her, I love the dead of night, when the only sound is my ever-racing heartbeat and the clack of my keyboard as I press anxiety into my characters' palms like hand-me-downs. Let them carry the weight for an hour or two. Maybe if I close my eyes, I can pretend my heartbeat is rainfall. Why are you calling me?
Get good grades.
A degree.
Job.
House.
Married.
Kids. I've always had high grades, but then age 11.
14.
When I moved schools,
Countries.
everything changed. Kids whispered about my skin, spots I couldn't hide or change within. So I watched my looks instead of my grades, and
They dropped.
Cried thinking if I'd change they'd see, but nothing changed except how I felt about me. They said,
You need to
work harder.
and I stood there still.
Paralyzed by perfectionist anxiety mixed with domestic violence.
Silence crowded my mind when I needed to
move.
Ding.
Welcome to the help desk. How can I serve you?
Hey, I've got this anxious personality that's been stressing me out lately. Could I possibly exchange it for something?
We've got OCD.
Oh, can I have one of those?
Sorry, we only sell that in even numbers.
Fuck.
Is there anything else you want to get rid of?
How about my compulsive hoarding behaviour?
Are you sure you want to get rid of that?
No, I might need it later.
Is there anything else I could get you?
Does this even make sense? Can we really commodify our emotions, personalities, and convince ourselves buying and selling will lead to happiness?
Yeah?
Look how they, with words, create golems for us to fight each other instead of them. Every distraction, a deflection from their deviations. Aren't I clever, sitting here, seeing it all?
Yeah, you sure are. Like how I never found you in hide and seek. Did you really stay behind that door for 3 days?
You really think you're so wise when you two sit here upon a throne of lies?
Wait, so you clog up the toilet with lies?
History is an Ouroboros,
A serpent insistent on swallowing its own tail.
marking borders with bite marks.
Chewing country and renaming it property.
Oppression is an inheritance. While trauma settles into our bloodlines, their privilege is handed down as heirlooms.
Our government is caught by their teeth, unable to speak against another occupation without exposing their own cavity of a colony.
It's 1943 and history circles us. A long lineage of engineered famines. The serpent rides in the belly of millions as the food we cultivate leaves our hands. The aftertaste of hunger lingers for generations. It's 2025
and the colony's favorite poison is still famine. Only this time our feeds are full of proof, protruding bones, insurance that the people shrivel into caricatures, their existence contorting into a political question mark.
It's 2026 and brown bodies hold the memory of starvation. The serpent coils itself in rolls on our lower backs, making a home in our wombs. Our bodies are trained to eat themselves. Colonialism is ravenous.
eating through olive trees and rice fields.
It is a weed we've tended for so long, we think it comes with the land. Democracy vomits up a vote for the creation of Israel in 1947.
And pretends to clean the state of their mess in 2025.
With empty recognitions.
And a coin purse of performative aid.
White bodies keep their currency, are worth your tears,
your mourning,
your memorials,
your media coverage,
your law reform,
your protection.
So when you spit out, I condemn all forms of violence, know that we notice whose violence you are condemning
and whose you are funding. It's
2031.
And the Bankstown Poetry Slam is labeled a terrorist organization.
We've made too many jokes about Pauline Hanson and she showed up in a burqa to cut our mics.
Watermelons are outlawed. The fruit now extra sweet when we harvest them from our backyards.
Aunties hover around your plate with a full spoon. You fend them off. Bas please, Auntie Arna. It is a custom to fill your guests before the serpent can steal a mouthful. It is a crime to say free Palestine. It is 2026 and we are still trying to imagine a world
where community does not mean resistance.
Where tongues are not sanitized before speaking.
Where oppression is not a punchline to an outdated bit.
Where immigration is not a necessity.
Where borders are not a claim to land.
Where famines are not a financial success.
A world where we spit out your history
and bite back.
Hey girl, hey!
Welcome to the Literary Arts. You've just finished your career writing degree, so your HECS debt will never be paid off.
But hey, you get to feel superior to people working for bloodthirsty corporations because you're gonna do
something that matters. For about a third of their salary at a creative non-profit.
Your internship is done, but it's only just begun. You'll be working for free, at least a little bit, for the rest of your life. We're all here well past finish.
We don't do it for the money.
We do it because we care.
And no, not even the boss gets paid over time, but please ignore that her salary is double what you're getting paid.
That's right, you heard correctly.
Her.
The boss is a she, her, pronouns in her bio. Girl power, lean in, boss bitch.
Who run the literary arts?
Women.
Who buy the tickets to the workshop?
Women. Okay, white women.
Okay, white women over 50.
But as long as they're giving us the most money, we'll keep right on catering to that demographic.
There's not a single person of colour on our staff, but we do acknowledgement of country at the start of every Zoom meeting. It's 21st century white feminism, and we're here to stay.
I mean, slay!
We're pretty sure we hired at least one person who might be bisexual, and that's diversity.
Speaking of diversity, did you know that a queer, disabled person of colour who attended our event counts as 3 different people?
You do now. Put those stats in the grant application so the government will give us money.
Speaking of the government's money, I know we pat ourselves on the back for being a pack of bleeding heart lefties.
But we actually have to maintain an apolitical stance to protect our funding. So on our social media and yours, don't criticise the Prime Minister and don't call it Invasion Day and don't mention the protest. And don't wear Cooee to work and don't use the word Palestine. Don't talk about Palestine. Don't care about Palestine.
Wow, but hey, we're not censoring you.
We just need to maintain that apolitical stance. So keep your fucking lefty mouth shut, okay?
Speaking of keeping your mouth shut, don't accuse us of Zionist views for silencing Palestinian authors.
Don't say that, because that irritates me, and I punch blokes in the mouth for saying that.
And please, don't tell anyone we use generative AI to make our marketing graphics.
How are we supposed to afford to pay artists?
We're just an itty-bitty, teeny-weeny, widow non-profit.
If you don't like the way we do it, why don't you start your own?
Wait, no, where are you going?
Why are you all going to Western Sydney?
That's not where real art is made.
Real art is made in legitimate venues like the Sydney Opera House.
Real art is made in places where you can see the ocean.
But not the river or the sea. Those words are anti-Semitic.
And we don't want to offend our Zionist friends.
Whatever, good luck. We're keeping the funding to ourselves.
As we pretend to care for so many more people than we actually do.
That we give half a wet fuck about amplifying voices that don't sound exactly like ours because we believe
that what we do matters. Aren't you so glad you picked a career in the literary arts?
Happy writing!
Go fuck yourself.
Welcome to immigration. Please state your country of origin and visa.
USA student visa.
New Zealand partner visa.
United States partner visa.
How long will you stay?
5 years, maybe 10.
4 years.
How long will you have me?
What are your reasons for entry?
Australia, I met the love of my life in 2023. We intersected lines between Wellington and Queens. There was only one country we could feasibly be, with no chance of Kiwi life or American dreams.
American dreams? What dreams? I look around my country and I don't recognize my home anymore. This is a nightmare. Everything is on fire. Everything is a flood. Everything is covered in ice. Home is a slippery slope.
Home is a smoking gun. With ice in our streets, there's no justice, no peace. When a masked man decides it's your time and unloads 3 bullets in your body. And look, I just came here for college, but fell in love with a place where I don't have to worry about getting shot in the face. Is that a good enough reason to leave?
It was months before I had enough money to leave. While I saved, I had to love her through a series of screens with dreams of splitting bills, rent, and groceries.
Groceries? Who even uses that word?
Those are the words of a president.
Please don't send her back there.
I have a life here.
Can you prove that?
We sent forms, utilities, tickets, leases, papers, payslips. Release me, Jesus.
SIM, debit, credit cards, tuition, insurance, I can pay.
$10,000 for love, just please let me stay.
10,000 pages on that fucking application.
I left my sister in Providence, Trader Joe's and Chick-fil-A.
I left my dog and my car and my friends and my nieces.
We left streets we knew the way home from for a new one we could share.
Looking for an answer here, something I could bring back home again.
Look, back home things are anything but great again. Everything is at risk of being grabbed by small, greedy orange hands. Women and children, migrants and citizens, journalists, ballot boxes, presidents, Greenland, and...
Nothing is safe. Home is not what it used to be.
I loved a country that doesn't love me.
Home no longer wants the world sick, poor, or needy. Home doesn't want the Australian who loves me. Now home is a closed door. Australia, I will give you everything if you will have me.
Australia, I'm giving you everything because you'll make me.
Australia, I give you everything because I know each question you ask is a test I can fail.
Any additional comments?
Nah, that's all I have.
No, that's all I have.
No, that's all I have, but please.
I want to stay.
Thank you for submitting. Your application is now pending.
For our feature artists, I'm a high school teacher, and I just need you to know that when I create units to teach poetry in so-called Australia, essentially what I do is I just pick out the work of these 7 people. And that's why we chose them tonight, because they are who our young people should be hearing. They are who our young poets should be learning from. They are who we should be listening to tonight. And they are DOBBY, Omar Musa, Maxine Beneba Clarke, Jeanine Leane, Hasib Hourani, Arantza Garcia, and Luka Lesson.
Love lives here. If these walls could talk, they'd stand and say, this home was never broken.
Skin is everyone's business. Black bodies are for public consumption. Food for white thought. Chewed up, shut out, reconsumed, forced into images not of our own devising. Prisoners of the mind.
My eyes are red hot and wet my whole life. Sometimes I kick the pavement like it owes me something, and sometimes I dribble onto the low pile carpet of my bedroom. Most of the time, I am Bilal. On my back, bloated sun, boulder on bare chest, they say, stop your calls to action, and I say, no.
Eyes desperate, his mouth like his own father's, and you can see his skeleton through his skin, from working until he hits bone like his fingerprints are made of sheer organza. Because you see, Ouroboros doesn't understand how to stop, how to dislodge his jaw from his own tail. Ouroboros is a brown boy that never learned how to love without sacrificing his own body, never learned to live without scarring his own hands, never learned the difference between desperation and dreaming, because immigrants will only ever wish for survival, and Ouroboros bars chokes to death again.
Power, memory, rhythmy, written by the man who have tried to get rid of me. Spirit of my ancestors living into destiny. Born into a time by those who manifested me. Telling my stories that is keeping us alive. The feeling of a change is what I bring to you tonight. So what is our collective memory? My reply is the answer is before your very eyes, and it lies in the truth.
They are getting hard at the thought of carnage, drawing lines on the bodies of women like rich man on map, like butcher on diagram of beast he will feed to the cleaver. The boys are turning on the fulcrum of history, enraged at the thought that things might change from the way they have always been. I know this because I have dreamed their raptor dreams. The boys are turning away.
Apollo stood forth, took the quill from my hand, took the black sticky ink from the most ancient squid and filled it and said, look, write with this ink, and may it come to your defense as it has for this old squid against every fisherman who has ever lived, as it has for every anarchist, freedom fighter and activist. They'll tell you actions speak louder than words until your words make people act like this.
A massive, massive drum roll, please, for our first place winners of the Bankstown Poetry Slam Grand Slam of 2026. It is, in other words, Samantha, Dara, Noor, and Jamila. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Be kind to one another and exit peacefully.